Anyway, folks, it's about that time, folks. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's Radio Graffiti, baby!
Ghost. Arguably one of the most mysterious political personalities to exist.
614, Radio Graffiti.
Ghost, when World War III hits, come to my bunker. We'll have a three-way with Alex Jones. It'll be totally legit. Oh my.
God damn it, you!
Despite years of trolling and harassment from various individuals and groups, nobody has ever figured out who he is. All we can do is guess based on the information we have discovered.
000, I'm a Jew. I'm not a Jew! Damn it! Damn it! I am not a Jew!
His activities on the internet have been followed by thousands upon thousands in some form or another since the late 2000s. What made him famous? What keeps us fascinated? Who is this man? This is the story of Ghost. Hey guys, City State Studios here. So this isn't the normal kind of the story of Ghost episode. This is episode 3.5, and the reason it's called that is because these are some moments I missed, unfortunately, in the last couple episodes. I wanted to get to these before I make episode 4. It should be coming out eventually, soon, at some point. These episodes are all courtesy, these clips are all courtesy of Ghost Story TCR, who used to make clips from the old True Conservative Radio days up on YouTube. He's also on Twitter. He hasn't been active in years, but I've used his videos a lot for the series, and I just want to go over the ones I have not covered in the series yet. Hence why this video exists. Anyway, the first clip we're gonna go for is this one clip of Ghost seriously considering to vote for Ron Paul, which is interesting considering how he ranted about him and said he hated him in the last couple episodes before this. This one, I believe, comes from, let me just check this here. This clip comes from the 14th episode of True Conservative Radio, so enjoy.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a caller here. 419 area code, you're on the air.
Hi, Ghost. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. You're very funny. You make me laugh. I don't know if it's intentional, but when you go off on a tangent, it's really funny. I would just like to say, I'm the one who goes off about Ron Paul all the time in your chat room.
Okay.
Why don't you like him?
Well, you know what? He's starting to look like a little bit more viable of an option as time continues on, to believe it or not. I mean, I never thought I'd say that. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about breaking this bottle of beer over my head for saying it, but to be honest with you, I think he's a viable opportunity. I mean, if any conservatives want to vote, I guess which I think he is going to run as a third-party candidate. Mm-hmm. I think that everybody maybe should look at him as an option. Now, will I vote for him? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, this is a sad day in American politics.
Mm-hmm. Because I hear when you talk, and you and Ron Paul have almost parallel views, but I guess maybe the foreign policy is where you guys differ a little bit. But Ron Paul's all about, everyone being able to live their version of the American dream, as long as you don't, force people to think the same way that you do. But, I agree. I think when I first listened to you, I wasn't sure what to think. And I just want to preface this and say that I am a Black American. And when I first listened to you, I wasn't sure what to think of what you were saying at all. But, the more you talk, you and Ron Paul have almost identical views, except for maybe the foreign policy about, leaving, other countries that we really probably don't need to be in, especially Japan. I don't see the reason to be in Japan anymore.
Sure.
But other than that, you guys have the same views. I'm glad that you're at least considering him.
You know what? I'm just doing it by default because I refuse to bow down to what both these parties are selling to me nowadays. And I don't know. Like I said, I may do it. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I'm pretty upset at this point. My blood pressure's probably pretty high. I'm probably putting myself in the grave right now just thinking about this crap. But, look, the bottom line is the reason I'm so upset is because of the country why people especially Republicans are drawn towards Ron Paul. I mean, he is very, conservative when it comes to his domestic policies and his regards to the Constitution. But the way he's selling his foreign policy message, I think, is just a little bit too. I don't really know how to describe it. I usually say tuck tail.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know. These are very precarious times, and I'm seeing a lot of oblivious Americans just walking around, half dead in my view, because they're not understanding what's taking place in America. We're losing our sovereignty, in my view.
I agree, and I think that it may be a little bit. I think maybe that's where Ron Paul needs to probably get new advisors.
You had great insight, and who knows? Maybe in a couple of weeks you'll hear me up on here saying Ron Paul, but I don't know. I don't know yet.
I know, it's always like do your research, but thank you for having me.
Thank you. You have a great evening.
You too.
Well, that was a great conversation there. Had an individual trying to suggest that maybe I should vote for Ron Paul as a protest or as an option. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm pretty much in despair. I'm a man without a party, and I'm sure most conservatives that are out there are people without party as well. And what's unfortunate is that I don't think that there's a conservative out in the market that can... 972 area code? Well, hold on just a second. Can't even get you on the... There we go. 972 area code, you're on the air.
Am I hearing Ghost himself consider Ron Paul as a candidate?
Well, I don't know anymore. Is this King Kong?
Yeah.
I don't know anymore, man. Are you kidding me? This is disgusting what's happened to the Republican Party. And look, I don't mean to be tooting my own horn, but beep, beep. I've been saying this all along that this has been happening. I'm glad that the mainstream media finally caught wind of this crap. That's the only thing that they've been talking about is the rift in the Republican Party, and I talked about it before it even happened. And what's unfortunate is now I have no candidate. Not that I was going to vote for Romney, but I was starting to, since McCain was starting to take this lead, I was starting to think maybe the Mormon was the only option I had because he was the only man that was talking anything about the borders, no amnesty, nothing. Maybe in a couple of weeks you'll hear me up on here saying Ron Paul, 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 Ron Paul.
This one's from yet another BTR host from a show that used to be called I Got My Reasons. This one's titled Dish Rag Calls Ghost, as originally uploaded by Ghost 3 TCR. Unfortunately, can't remember exactly which episode of TCR this came from. That's True Conservative Radio, by the way, not True Capitalist Radio. And so basically, she called up Ghost and complained about him. This lasted for about 9 minutes. So with that said, enjoy.
We got somebody calling in, 978 area code, you're on the air.
Yeah, this is Stephanie.
Stephanie, are you talking about from I Got My Reason show?
That's right.
Well, how you doing?
Fine.
I'm glad you called in because I know you have very opposition viewpoints to what I'm saying here.
Opposing, I think that's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, well, what's going on? What do you have something to chime in about, or are you just going to, accuse me of being a chauvinist?
I'm just trying to understand your logic and where you're coming from, because it really, I think that you're getting so much shit from both sides because you truly are a caveman.
What?
A caveman.
Oh, well, look, the reason I'm getting a supposed heat from the other side, which is the right side, these are all social conservatives. Or excuse me, social liberals that are posing as conservatives, that are basically trying to, use me as, he's an imbecile.
You're right.
No, absolutely not. But because I'm acknowledging a social phenomenon that's crippling our society.
There's nothing crippling our society except for people like you.
How am I crippling society? Provide substance. Don't just name call. Honestly, if you believe that, give me some substance, please.
because there's no reason for anyone in this day and age to think that women should not have equal rights.
I've never claimed women should not have equal rights, ma'am, with all due respect.
That's exactly what you're claiming.
No, I'm not. And I've just stipulated that here in the beginning of the show. I acknowledge the fact that there was a social problem at the turn of the 20th century and previous that suppressed women. I acknowledge the fact that the feminists at the turn of the 20th century were true patriots that accorded the woman the right to work, that accorded the woman the right to vote. I've acknowledged this. I'm not trying to suppress women. I don't want women, like I've been suggested in every one of these emails that I get, that I want women barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. That's not what I'm suggesting. What
it sounds like.
It's not what I'm suggesting, ma'am. What I'm suggesting is that you've got the feminist movement of the 60s that has completely corrupted the average. I'm not just saying American woman.
It didn't corrupt me.
Well, I understand, and you told me that you've been married for a long time. You've got a husband who's a soldier, and let me tell you, I commend you. I give you much credit for that. Because let me tell you, the American family is becoming extinct, ma'am, and that's the only reason why I bring up the feminist movement is because it has corrupted the woman mind into believing that they can basically...
It hasn't corrupted anything. It actually helped a lot of women.
So
it's not corrupting them.
So you think it's okay to just be, casually married, go in and out of divorce? You think it's like woman liberation for women just to go ahead and have children at will with multiple different partners? I mean, this is the social norm.
I think a woman should do whatever is best for her family and herself, whether that be stay married to someone or not.
So you're saying to me that it's okay for the social phenomenon of single-parent families to just be socially acceptable? I mean, have you submitted to that? I mean, because I haven't. I mean, I don't like the fact that, children are being raised by one parent that's usually at work, and then they're dumped off on a boob tube or a violent video game or the internet. And these are the technological innovations that are raising our children today. I mean, that's all I'm saying. I mean, you even got them raising them at the formative years from age 0 to about 5. They're in front of these ridiculous.
3.
I'm sorry?
3.
Well,
0 to 3 is the most important.
I'm sorry?
0 to 3 is their formative years. That's when they are developing the most.
Okay. Well, I mean, I extended it to 5 because you learn a lot as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I acknowledge the fact that the formative years are 0 through 3. But, I mean, I extend it to 5 because, you've got a corrupt world out here that you got to shield these children away from. And that's all I'm saying. And you're not going to be able to shield them by just dumping them off on a television set. I mean, I've got a granddaughter.
That's the parent's responsibility. What you're doing is you're blaming a few bad eggs in the world on all women.
Well, it's not a few bad eggs. It's become the social norm. I mean, if this was just a minority...
No, it really hasn't.
It has, ma'am. I disagree with you. Just look at the statistics. I mean, this has become the social norm. I mean, if you're a woman that's 25 years of age and you don't have at least two children, other women are going to look at you and look at you cross-eyed, like, what's wrong with you?
That's not true. That's not true.
That is complete. A
friend of mine is 28 years old, and she just had her first child, and nobody thought anything about it.
Oh, and what part of the? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nobody looked at her. People are having children later in life these days.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Just for the simple fact that they want to be able to be there for those kids. There's been a study. It's fact.
No.
People are not having children as young anymore.
Where
are you getting this from?
Your
family has pissed you off to where you believe that everybody in the world is like this, because they're not. I'm in Virginia.
Well, look at the statistic. Well, you're in Middle America, and you see, this is why you haven't seen it. I mean, Middle America is the only thing.
No, I've been all over the country. I have family in Massachusetts. I have family in Louisiana. I have family in Michigan. I have family all over the country that I do go and visit all the time.
So are you not acknowledging that there's a social problem? Are you just saying that everything's okay? Is that what you're just trying to tell me here? That everything is okay?
I'm saying that I think that we live in a wonderful country right now where we don't have people like you in power who hold women down.
How am I holding women down? Can you explain to me things that I have stated where I have advocated the subjugation of women?
For example, just because you're a little ignorant about it, children are not born. Women don't shit children out. They come out of the vagina. Okay, that's
okay. No. Look, I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that. I asked you, what did I say? What have I ever said where I've advocated the subjugation or the suppression of women? Now, I understand that maybe you disagree with some of the rhetoric that I spout off, and that's more than you're right. But I'm just simply stating, what have I stated ever where I've said I want women subjugated? I've been told that I've advocated violence towards women, which I had never have. That I want them in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, which I've never stated. I mean, what have I said where I'm basically suppressing women, or I'm advocating the subjugation of women? Please.
Everything that comes out of your mouth.
But you see, that's a blanketed statement. There's no substance behind that. All you're doing is just
said the kettle.
I'm sorry?
I said the kettle. You're talking about me making blanket statements and generalizing. That's exactly what you're doing. You're generalizing every single woman out there. You're saying that they're going to have 5 kids, that they put them in front of the television or they put them in front of whatever.
They do, ma'am. It's a social norm. It's the social norm.
I have 500 friends I could show you that don't do that, that are more concerned about anything in their world. It's hard enough in this country for a woman to make it, and then there's people like you who turn around and say they get exactly what they deserve. That's not right. That's why people from both sides of the fence think you're a nutball.
Well, I am not a nutball, okay? I'm just acknowledging the social ills of society, and everybody just wants to turn a blind eye to it. I mean, the statistics prove you wrong, ma'am. And, of course, you hung up because you don't want to debate anymore. And I don't blame you.
So this clip we're going to cover, this is a short speech Ghost gave, about 6.5 minutes long, about what it means to be a true conservative. This is around the time that Ghost stopped calling himself True Conservative Republican Radio, and just simply True Conservative Radio. So, yeah, if you enjoy Ghost commentary, this is for you.
But, since we're on this subject matter, because, I have been taking a lot of heat, I've been taking a lot of heat, not only from people of the left, but people that are so-called conservative. And I'm going to go ahead and give a little speech that I wrote about the conservatives, because I have a lot of conservative people that don't come into this chat room, that just listen to me via another source. And I thank them for faithfully listening. I thank them for continuing the conservative fight. I thank them for all that. So here we go. Go something like this. And then this is to all the conservatives, the true conservatives out there. My fellow conservatives worldwide, we are witnessing the systematic dismantling of the conservative movement before our very eyes. The conservative label has been hijacked by those who are in direct contradiction of what the movement was intended. These same individuals who've hijacked the conservative label have redefined the principles, changed the direction, and crippled the foundation of our very movement. These same Trojan horses have utilized the methods of agitation ranging from the spread of logical fallacies to reverse psychology with one goal in mind: social liberalism. We as true conservatives must organize ourselves to combat this infiltration of our movement. We must not let ourselves be induced into acceptance through the propaganda that these Trojan horses utilize. We, as true conservatives, must understand that there are hidden forces who disguise themselves as fellow conservatives, which are trying to turn us against one another. And much to my disdain, they have been successful at doing just that. The conservative movement is not political, but rather a social value system that personifies integrity, liberty, and family. And these Trojan horses that claim to be conservative have correlated the conservative label with political rhetoric. To call yourself a conservative, you must faithfully believe in the following. Conservatives believe that there is a God regardless of your religious beliefs. Conservatives believe that marriage is the most sacred of all traditions between a man and a woman. And such liberal concepts such as divorce, adultery, and open sexual perversion cannot and should not be tolerated as a social norm in any society. Conservatives believe that the family is the foundation of every society and that broken families are a social ill that should not be accepted as the social norm. Conservatives believe that all men should pledge an unconditional oath to their families and country. Conservatives believe that females should be respected and loved based on their character and loyalty, not based on their sexuality or social exploitation of their gender. Conservatives believe that abortion is the purest form of murder and should not be tolerated, period. Conservatives believe that females and males who have multiple children from multiple different partners is a social ill and should not be tolerated as the social norm. Conservatives believe that children should be raised in a two-parent home and should be shielded from predators and propaganda that will corrupt their developing minds. The youth is our precious resource for perpetuating conservative values, and they should be commended and embraced whenever faithfully following this value system. Conservatives believe that we must abide by the laws of the land unless the laws infringe or suppress our value system. Conservatives believe in racial equality. Conservatives believe that remember this, conservatives believe that open homosexuality and lesbianism should not be tolerated as the social norm in any society. These are the core principles to being a true conservative, and anyone who doesn't faithfully coincide with every one of these principles are not a conservative. We as the true conservatives must take direct action against those who use the conservative label to masquerade their true hidden agenda. These Trojan horses all must be exposed for who they are and what their true agenda is. We as the true conservative movement must demand that those who utilize the conservative label and don't abide by our principles must completely stop using the word conservative to describe themselves. The true conservatives of the world must stand up against those who are corrupting the message and changing our principles. All those who wish to join us just have to abide by our principles to be one of us. And together, we conservatives can heal the social damage caused by those who've made the social ills the social norm. I thank all those true conservative patriots who still believe in these principles, and I despise those Trojan horses who are attempting to cripple our foundation. Long live the American family and the world family, and long live the conservative movement.
Alright, so for this clip, if you've been following True Capitalist Radio for a long time like myself, you're probably familiar with the phrase, take 10 steps away from my butt crack, or some variation of that. Well, this is the first recorded instance of him saying that. And the reason it wasn't covered on a previous episode of the show was because this was recorded on a different show that Ghost called into. This was actually taken from a show called Political Intervention, hosted by Ozone, on February 10th to 11th in 2008. This was like a whole 2-day-long marathon show, pretty much, called the Transcending Politics Marathon. And there's also another clip coming up after this of about 15 minutes of Ghost fighting against other Blog Talk Radio hosts. But anyway, this first clip shows Ghost using the phrase, take 10 steps away from my freaking butt crack for the first time.
Okay.
The church or the community.
I want to talk about...
Oh, it's America's problem. It's America's problem. But the problem is the media is showing, when you see your idol having multiple sexual partners and having divorce, and when you see everyone on TV doing it, you're obviously growing up to believe that.
So now you guys are for getting rid of capitalism?
No. Nobody watched it. Nobody. They wouldn't show it, would they?
No, and here comes MD again, trying to hop on the bandwagon that it should be free will and all that. I believe
sweetheart, I'm the engine on this train. I'm not the bandwagon.
Hey, MD,
you want to get rid of capitalism?
So I'm not. Hey, I didn't say anything about capitalism, sir. All I'm simply suggesting.
You asked me about the media. You asked me about the media, so what do you want me to do? Get the government to shut down the media?
I never said anything about that. You see, you're twisting words around. You're doing other methods of propaganda that the communists know and love out here. You must have a copy. You must have a copy of Vladimir Lenin's reinstation of authoritarian
I saw your mailbox, and you get the Daily Worker, my friend.
Oh, the Daily Worker. Oh, yeah, great comeback.
Ghost, your problem is you can't defend your ideas.
Not once.
Defend the ideas. I'm defending them. I want to save the American family because, and you see what you people are completely being evasive about. Excuse me, Cuba. All right, you've already talked your hole off. All right, let me combat. I've got three liberals. I've got three liberals over here crawling up my butt crack. Why don't you take about 10 steps away from it, you fruity asses? All right, now.
This next clip, as mentioned before, is more just clips of ghosts fighting other BTR hosts during this 6-hour-long episode, which featured a debate between ghosts and other conservative talk show callers. And these clips show other hosts talking shit about ghosts pretty much until he shows up for the final half of the episode. Again, this is more of an impromptu video, so the narration style is a bit different for me. I actually am not working with any script, unlike with the other episodes. So apologies for that. I just wanted to cover all my bases by covering these select videos that I wasn't able to cover for the other episodes. But again, if you do enjoy this, I think you'll definitely enjoy this next clip.
I'm not offended at all about anything. You can say anything you want.
Oh, that's cool then. So, I mean, I know you want to talk about other things, but this is actually a lot of people wonder because they listen to your comments in chat rooms and you seem to be a reasonable person. We've had a very good conversation with John and you and I tonight. We had a very good conversation. And then you look at what Ghost says. And believe me, you've listened to my show. I get a little crazy. But, I mean, I like to I don't know. I mean, I don't know where I'm at and how people want to, rate me on there, but I hope to think that I'm not quite at Ghost's level of my the way I do my show. I mean, maybe sometimes, but some of the things he said, I mean, I don't get offended by shit. I mean, I really don't get offended. I am the anti-PCBS police. I don't get offended by anything. And this guy has offended me, personally on so many levels, and I wonder why you think that's going to help the American family. I mean, this guy's got a show on BTR, and he's a bullshitter. I mean, he's I've got thousands of people. I mean, it was so funny. I mean, his last show that he did, MD and I and about 3 other people were on hold for 40 minutes.
Oh, God.
And he's screaming call in, you pecker shaft bastards, and give me crap. And we're all sitting there on hold, and
I'll make you mental midgets.
Yeah. You keep flapping your fat fingers with your logical fallacies, and we're on hold.
It's personality. It's just a personality. You see liberals doing this. You see people doing
exactly
all over the
liberals doing it.
No, but everybody can do it. I've done it. I can get angry and start saying things that you don't. Everybody can get angry. Maybe some people do it more than others. I've seen things in the chat room from all kinds of people when they get frustrated and they start writing things into the chat.
No.
I have yet, it's got to be at least I've yet to come across that I could really even justify saying that any more than 10% of his combined shows, 10% of it is an even tone talking, actually making a point.
Look,
you have 90% of ranting.
Yeah.
That's unhealthy.
Okay, but there's 100 million blogs where people talk nonsense. I mean, and so he's doing it with the radio on the he's just one of millions there's got to be something different about him that bothers conservatives more than everyone else. Everyone's doing it.
Dude, he's not bothering me because, like, he's saying something that's, like, moving or right. He bothers me because he's, like, psycho.
Yeah.
He's not normal. I mean, when you start, like, have you listened to his show?
Yeah, look, and the last time I called in, he's calling all conservatives pieces of shit. And I'm listening to him, and he's a guest on my show, and he's saying, all of you in the chat room, I don't care who you are. And I keep thinking, is he talking to me?
You're all pecker shafts, and you're all way off.
I call in, I say, hey, you're calling all of us pieces of shit? I said like that, and then he started saying, well, you're going to vote for McCain. So I started talking to him about my points, why we should vote for McCain for the troops, and that Bush was also a liberal and was going to pass the amnesty and whatever. But then when he wanted to do his rant again, he would say, "Oh, and ozone, I apologize, not you or whatever." But then he just wants to yell. He was cordial with me, but then when he continued to like rant again. I knew he also wanted to include me, but he was trying to be, he's just a personality. And
yeah, but it goes beyond just a personality. I mean, I have just a personality. I mean, I'm a freaking bitch. I mean, I can be like a raving bitch.
But this is what liberals do. What we're doing right now is what liberals do. They go and they say, the guy talks out of his ass sometimes, and well, what's the issue? That's what they say about Republicans.
But he doesn't cover an issue. He spends his entire 2 hours saying, F you pecker shafts in my chat room. Call in, you pussy pecker shaft, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And that's all he does.
I think you made ozone one of the most absurd statements.
He sits there and goes, I have thousands of people emailing me and all my supporters, and here's got fucking 4 people on hold on his phone. He won't take a damn phone call. He won't actually listen to the other side or anyone's opinion on anything.
Maybe there are thousands of listeners. Who knows?
No, guaranteed there's not.
Listen. Okay. Look, we have 717 on, I think it's Guerrilla News, and he wants to, he says in the chat room he wants to say hello and make fun of ghosts, which we're not doing anymore, actually.
How you doing, baby?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How's it going?
Which DNR is this? Which one of you is it?
This is Dan.
Dan?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep, so how's it going?
How you doing, Dan?
We're doing good. Yeah, I had made mention earlier in the chat room that Ghost is sort of like the political equivalent of the Westboro Baptist Church. So,
true.
Everyone's going to hell.
Let me tell you what Ghost is. Ghost is exactly what's already happened to the left of America that we've already abandoned. We've already abandoned the Americans, and we call them the left, and we're like, oh, we call them names, but not us. We already abandoned the left, and they, we call them names, and now there's another left coming through, which is, which is moving now, and the same thing is happening again. I mean, I don't see any difference.
Who are the other left?
People like McCain.
So, like me? Am I the other? Because according to Ghost, I'm the other left.
No, just because you vote for McCain doesn't mean you agree with McCain. It just
but according to Ghost, I am a McCain.
I'm not allowed to have the name that I have.
Oh yeah, MD has to change his name. He's not allowed to be MD conservative anymore. He has to take the conservative out of it.
The part that I love about that was
4 years of good material.
It's great. I mean, it's so entertaining. But the part that, this is what I don't get. Here's my reason of why no one should take Ghost seriously at all.
No, you can't. But
one show he
reason
had.
Number one, he's a blog talk radio host.
It's number one.
Okay, well, alternate reason.
No, that's number one.
He made some point, and I called him on. I said, I think you're wrong. All of a sudden, he goes on this tirade telling me I have to take the conservative out of my name. I'm a social liberal. I like gays, all this different stuff about it. He had never seen me before. He did not even know where I stood on any single policy viewpoint. And yet I was not a conservative. I was a social liberal simply because I disagreed with him. And I think it was like I like blondes and he liked brunettes, and I'm a freaking social liberal that's going to destroy the country. I mean, He doesn't have a thought process. He does not know where I stand on a single policy issue, nothing.
But you now, with all due respect, MD, all you did was throw personal attacks in 4-letter words. Let me tell you, as a conservative, I mean, I have never seen anybody text more 4-letter words and absolute filth than I have seen out of you, sir. And I really don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate you coming into my chat room and spreading that kind of slanderous filth about me. I expect you to apologize to me here right now.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, look, guys, going to happen because anyone,
guys, for everything I've done and that I've talked bad about other people, I apologize. Everyone, please, everyone, just apologize for anything that when you insulted someone. Let's go around and apologize. If in case you insulted someone, you didn't mean to, you apologize.
Well, look, I'll acknowledge this as far as MD Conservative is concerned. I'll acknowledge the fact that I can't basically pinpoint him on one issue where I think he's a liberal because I don't really know the man. All I know him as...
Well, go ahead and ask.
Well, excuse me. All I know you as, sir, is an agitator in my chat room that spreads more filth. And let me tell you, I hate to keep bringing up this ridiculous fruity ass...
anyone else an agitator?
Excuse me. I mean, I don't mean to be bringing up this fruity ass Fred character that we all know and love. But let me tell you something. You spread more filth than that ridiculous fruity ass Fred. And you should be ashamed of yourself, MD Conservative. You're supposed to be a conservative Republican. You should hold yourself up with a little bit more integrity, sir.
Okay, 251.
Asking you for original.
Fine, you got something to say?
Agitation?
Yeah, I have a question for him.
Okay.
Ghost, what is your view on Israel and the Jews?
What about them?
I don't know. What is your view?
What is my view? I mean, they're Israel. I mean, what do you want me to say about it? What exactly do you want me to say about it?
I don't know. What is your view on them?
What are you trying to throw a logical fallacy at me? Who the hell is this? First of all,
what's this? Asking you a question.
Who in the hell is? We're talking about conservative values, and here I got some nut job talking about Israel. What's wrong with you? You eating a bagel or something?
No. Listen.
What's the problem? Look, if you're talking about do I believe that Israel should exist? Absolutely.
Do you believe Israel should exist?
Absolutely, it should exist. It's the only democracy. If you let me finish, sir,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's the only democracy before the United States implemented democracy in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was the only democracy in the Middle East, and I think it should exist. Now, go ahead.
Do you believe that the Jews control the financial system of the world?
Oh, give me a break with that. What are you? Is this an Alex Jones nut job or something? What's going on here?
I'm asking you the question. Yes or no?
Close, you can answer or not. Just whatever.
Yes or no?
That's ridiculous. I'm not going to answer that question because that's absolutely ridiculous. It sounds to me like some agitator that's getting up on here and trying to, utilize, trying to split hairs with language so he can say, "Hey, you see, look what I got."
Oh, he just. When do I get to ask my question?
The focal point of this program should be that these two people, MD Conservative and Jen, are social liberals. These people have just completely, submitted to social liberalism, and that's all there is to it.
For the record, I would just like to remind people he has not proven how I'm a social liberal.
Because you're an agitator, MD. I've been on your show, and I've never, ever thrown a 4-letter word, a personal attack, or anything at you. I respect your show because I would expect you to do the same, and obviously you don't. And I've never wanted to hear Jen's show. It's bad enough I hear out here on BTR. I want to hear anywhere else.
So tell me exactly then why, if you've never listened to my show, how I am a social agitator or whatever the fuck you want to call me.
Because you're doing the same thing as MD Conservative over here, even at a more airheaded level. I mean, it'd be a different story, Jen, if you would get... Listen to me, Jen. It'd be a different story. It would be a different story if you were providing substance. All you're doing is probably regurgitating something. You're regurgitating something that sounds like it came out of 17 magazine.
You know what I'm saying.
You're telling me also...
magazine, because I don't.
Are you going to stick with you can't define logical fallacy?
Do I not get an answer? My question is, what the fuck is a logical fallacy?
I think that you've been explaining that about on 50 different shows, and here you go again asking. So, why don't you ask something about politics or something against my particular views, Jen, and stop coming out with these sentence fragments of absolute airhead idiocy.
Okay, I got a question. I got a question.
Hey, hold on. Ghost, look.
Did you not? You can't answer that?
Questions or say I'm not answering.
Ozone. He's not answering the questions.
Look, it's not. This is. I mean, I don't know.
Ozone. take control here. It's supposed to be a political chat here. I've got one moron talking about if the Jews own everything or something. I've got some ditzy broad over here.
I got a question.
Yeah, I am actually.
All right, look. Let's all relax. It's 4:00 in the morning or something like that.
What's going on, briefs?
What?
Boxers or briefs?
Oh, give me a break. Are you kidding me?
Pecker shaft.
I'm just trying to lighten it up here.
No, I know that. I know how you are, Dan. It's all good, man. I believe me. You know, I'm not. When I talk about social liberalism, I'm not talking about you, my friend. I'm talking about these two people right here.
I'd like you to prove that.
I got cleared. Hear that, guys? I'm clear.
You're good.
And Ozone's all right too, man. Ozone's pretty good, even though he's voting for McCain, which I disagree with. But I mean, on the general premise of conservatism and the ideology of it, he's all right too.
You still have yet to find how I am not a conservative. I don't understand your point.
Because you're an agitator. I mean, how many times do I have to tell you? You go into my chat room and say the most disgusting filth I have ever heard come out of a conservative. Well, actually, it's not kind of. It's not
about gays whacking off in front of school children and stuff. You think?
No, it's oral copulation, Jen.
Yeah, exactly, Jen. I mean, you're the one cursing like you just came off of a submarine. I mean, give me a break.
I love my Navy, my.
Oh man, this is good.
I was told. Okay, I'll get serious.
Shaft right here, bitch.
You see what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about, Jen. I mean, give me a break.
Are we willing to all apologize for anything we've done in the past, bad or good, and not do it?
Hold on. Okay. Ozone, if you can tell me what I'm supposed to apologize for, I did it to Scotty on the air. I've done it to other people, but I'd love to know what I'm supposed to apologize for to go.
You know what? I'll tell you what, MD, because you were sitting there flapping your fat Cheetos-stained fingers on the keyboard, talking garbage to me, man. I don't appreciate that. You're supposed to be a conservative. You're supposed to be on my side, for Christ's sake.
Hell no.
I'm not talking to you, Broad. I'm talking to the conservative over here.
He's not sexist or anything. He's not sexist, no.
And now for this final clip that's taken from the 30th episode of True Conservative Radio. Ghost received his first known transgender caller. This caller actually came from Canada, which is one of the reasons why Ghost have actually kicked this caller off the air. Now, Ghost refers to a lot of transgender people, usually male to female transgenders, as trans testicles. So, obviously, if you have an issue with this clip might not be for you. I just want to make it clear that I do not endorse any sort of language that's inappropriate that Ghost may use during this clip. This is purely for documentary purposes. This is not an endorsement of what Ghost has to say about transgender people or about LGBT people in general. I certainly do not share Ghost's views on transgender people at all. And this clip kind of shows how he views them, or at least how he viewed them back then, because his opinion did shift. It didn't necessarily shift for the better too much per se, but it just kind of changed in some weird ways, especially in like the 2016, 2017 episodes of True Capitalist Radio. So anyway, this is the first transgender caller that ever came on Ghost's show.
Well, no, just go ahead and tell us, what's on your mind. Hold on, we have another caller from 416. I just want to get them on the line. Are you there?
Hi, yes. Hi. I'm just going to listen in. I'm from Canada, so I'm like not really even in this. I just got my own little opinion.
All the illegal, aliens there, you Canada woman.
I know.
Canada, you have no idea how much you're into it up to your neck, even though you're in Canada.
What is that? Oh, really?
Canada, you have no idea how much you're up to your neck, even though you're in Canada.
I know. We just kind of sit back and don't get involved. I'm telling you, I'm very appalled, really. But you know what? The Canadians, one thing about them is they really don't like. They'll just have faith that somebody will take care of them. They don't really even, they'll vote just to vote, just to say they vote. But I don't know if they really know what they're doing. I don't know how anybody can choose one from the other. It's like saying, you know what, you like this brother, but you don't like that brother, and you don't like...
Well, you can choose from one or the other if one or the other has distinctive differences in the two. But unfortunately, in this day and age, right now, this is, the original name of this show was called True Conservative Republican Radio, but I dropped the Republican off my name because of the fact that the Republicans have embraced such a blatant liberal like John McCain. He's a blatant liberal. He wants to raise taxes. He wants to put more government in our faces, more government bureaucracy.
No, you know what? He's taking taxes, and we have to. I mean, we all as a nation have to see what it is that we need and what it is where there's extra money. And you know what? Money was only distributed for value. Once you devaluize somebody, right? You then create them into powerless, right? It's only a number that surrounds a person. A company that has millions of dollars invested in it, you could say, well, listen, buddy, here's your $3 million. Now what are you going to do to save your world? Because we don't need your damn company anymore. What are you going to do? Just get a bunch of these millionaires and just take them right off the face of the earth? You can't. You got to get their money working for something. They made that money. They have those industries because they have now a big bank account full of money. What are they going to do? Continue to let these companies, pollute the air? Unless they're going to
hold on just a second. Now, I mean, we're talking about companies pollute the air. I think we have one of the greatest eco standards, even though, I don't believe in global warming. I think we have one of the greatest...
You don't believe in global warming.
I don't believe in global warming because I don't just read what the mainstream media feeds me. I read. I'm a critical. I go through critical analysis, and if you look at astronomy, and you understand that Mars right now, Mars's ice cap is shrinking at a higher rate than Earth's.
Mm.
And what does that tell you? Well, according to astronomers that are actually talking substance, the sun is getting hotter. Okay, now no one understands why. No one understands what's happening. Whether the
we need more energy. We're using more energy.
That's why it's about to burst. It's a freaking star, man.
you honestly think that it's one of those supernovas?
When we take it from light to a solid. See, we have to go from matter to spirit. We have to go from matter to consciousness.
What?
We have to see ourselves as an image rather than something that bleeds and dies. I know that kind of sounds all far-fetched.
Talking about Democrats and
I'm sorry. I just, I recognize that voice.
I love you, honey. You sound sexy, but, come on now. Stay on topic.
I'm sorry. Let me get back to it. I get off topic. I remember I'm from Canada. I'm a big dip, and plus I'm blonde, too. So.
Oh, you're from Canada. There you go. All right. Socialized medicine. How's that going?
You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to just take it back to the kindergarten days. What'd you say? What'd you say, smarty pants?
I said socialized medicine. How's that going for you?
Socialized medicine? Great.
Yes.
You know what?
Okay.
You guys are better off, though, because we have to sit in a stupid emergency room for 15 friggin' hours.
Thank you.
Of course. That's why America doesn't want universal health care.
But you know what? Another thing you guys are good for? Because you guys have to have mind over matter if you got no health care, man. There's probably a lot.
Oh man, you know what? I've heard this person before. Believe me, she or he or she or it or she-male, whatever, is called not only this show but a variety of different shows, and made this absolute malarkey, concept that we got to get him spiritually, and all this New Age horse crap.
It's a fucking star. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's a fucking star. Isn't that what it is? I don't know.
Look, all I'm talking about is politics, okay? I'm not trying to sit over here. I'm not saying that, the stars, and we need to get spiritual. And, we need to get the energy. The energy needs to go into, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that either. I said, that's enough of that shit.
I'm sorry. I know, believe me, it's kind of a laugher, but with all due respect to that Canadian bacon, I don't know if it was a broad, a trans-testicle, or whatever it was. I'm sorry, but we're talking substance here. We're talking about political matters that affect America, And, of course, those that are outside of America can have political opinions about what we're doing out here as far as the American government, American legislation, American foreign policy is concerned. But let's provide some substance. Let's not go into some sort of spiritual, Miss Cleo kind of crap.
Right.
I got a spin for you.
And with that, those are all the calls and other moments that I missed during the first 3 episodes. So the reason I kind of missed them was because there was really no, there's no channels that really clipped ghost shows in these early episodes. So I'd have to go through every episode manually and try to find moments that I thought were notable. And unfortunately, I did miss a couple of them. For the next episode should be out eventually. I don't have a set timetable for it, nor do I have a set timetable for the other Queen Iceberg video, but they will be out. And also, I do want to discuss that I've gotten a couple comments, congratulating me for this series. I just want to say thank you to anyone who's supporting this series so far. It really means a lot, and I hope I can gain more subscribers, get more views, I can get more support for the series and other projects. This channel isn't just about the story of ghosts. I plan to cover other things. Like after the Queen Iceberg video, I plan to cover a Led Zeppelin iceberg I found on the Dogs of Doom Discord server, actually. And I plan to cover even maybe a Pink Floyd iceberg at some point, because I'm also a huge Pink Floyd fan, I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and a huge Queen fan. So with all that out of the way, have a good day, and expect to see more content from me soon. Thank you.